Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. So I got my hair colored and I had her put some on my eyebrows.
Oh, did you?
I did.
See, I almost did with my, when I went and got mine done, but I have this one, like, eyelash tint. I might do it in, like, a couple of spots where it's still.
Just because it was getting, like, just weirdly grown out.
I know,
like I still
it's,
had a
patchy,
lot of blonde. Yeah. And I was really annoyed because mine was just looking so yellowy as it went on. And I would use, like, every now and again, I'd put on some of my purple shampoo, but, like, that didn't really do anything with the brows. And I really wish that I could have just gotten mine to that white because I think it would have looked just better as it grew out, you know, but whatever. Yeah, maybe we'll do it again one day. I liked it. I thought
it was
good.
fun. It was just very high maintenance.
It really was. Like legitimately, we would have to do that. Like, I mean, almost like twice a week if you wanted them to be.
I'd say like every 10 days would be the most.
Yeah. But even in that time, you would have little
like,
bits.
gross.
Yeah. So,
like...
yeah, but I'm back to normal. There still are some that like she didn't get or it didn't take or whatever. But then for now, it's fine.
And even now, I still have to put the gel in that spot. So it's like kind of more high maintenance because for work, I wouldn't want.
Who cares? Yeah.
I'll just brush them. But
that's what was nice when they were fully like bleached because I didn't do anything to them.
Like, it was easy.
Yeah, it was so easy. But yeah, so back to normal pretty much. I went a little darker with the color, tried to like embody Dorit, but like I don't know if I think it looks good. Like I like the color, but it's not really fully like Dorit's. But that color is really hard because I tried to take like screenshots of the
and then
video.
It looks different every time. Yeah,
I know. So it was really tough. Like we spent like 5 minutes looking at it when I was in the chair, and then I had sent them to her beforehand too. She's like, well, like, do you like it better in this lighting or this lighting? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So we like had to just pick one basically and go with that. But because even some of the ones that she's been posting recently, I don't know if they're like her glamour shots from the season, but it's so blown out with the color, like the flash. I'm like, that looks totally different too. So, but anyway. Well, we can talk about Suki.
I know, which was so fun.
That was a week ago. We went to that. It was amazing.
It was so cool. And I just wish there were more shows like
me too.
That style where it's just fun and vibey. And she was like dancing around and it just looked cute. So good.
We got there. It was probably like 35 minutes after the show started, but she had a opener, so we just missed the opener.
Which I kept forgetting to look that person up.
Bully. Yeah, I don't think if I heard songs by them, I don't know it. So we totally missed them, but I'm sure they were good. And then there were tons of people in there, so we had like the general admission, so it was all standing, and we didn't really know if we were going to get like a good spot, but we tried our chances.
And like the general admissions thing, it's like they sell enough tickets or like they're allotted where everyone should be able to fit, but it almost didn't look like we were going to fit in. Like, I know. Like, where are we going to go?
Yeah. So we just like took a chance and kind of went down to the like main level, I guess, that was in front of the stage, and then we found spots that were perfect for us, and we could totally see her no issues at all.
I know, it ended up being really cool.
Yeah. And I think like if we like we're pushy, we probably could have gotten closer, but I liked where we were. I liked
because we had like for a while, especially space.
Yeah, we had some room. I kept trying to like take up more space so that people wouldn't be like all smushed up against us.
And like people kept like going out for some reason, like right where we were, like our aisle. Like I didn't see any of the other aisles going in, and it was like, what are you doing? Just stand there.
And the thing with those that we talked about too, like they had some nice bars. Like it was, the bars looked really cute.
They did.
But like in a situation like that, especially when you're standing there,
Right.
like to me, I don't even need to get one drink.
Right.
And then I certainly don't need to get more than one, because then it's like, okay, now I need to leave and then maybe I'll lose my spot. And is it worth it to walk through here with drinks? Like to me, it's not. But maybe if we were had seats, we would feel differently, or in like a VIP section or whatever. But there were plenty of people that were doing that and coming back with drinks, and it just wasn't anything.
No, that I needed to do. And obviously we had a long drive. And then we had drama too, where somebody was going to pass out and we had to stop the show.
It was not right by us, so we don't know the real story. Right. But the show was stopped, the lights came on, and then a girl was like walked out, and she did not look good. So we don't know if it was like alcohol, heat, blood pressure, all the above. Like we have no idea, but she didn't come back. So
no, she didn't. At least not back
where we were. Which that just really sucks, because it was kind of at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it's like definitely was not the middle. No. Like it was before that. But it does suck too when it's the winter time and you're trying to go to these shows, because it's so hot.
I know.
In there, and then freezing outside. So it's like you either have a coat or you don't have a coat, and it's just
this girl from what I saw, she didn't have a coat on her, but like the person that was with her could have been carrying it or whatever. So she could have been, or there was a coat check too.
There was.
So who knows? But I know we wore our cute little, we borrowed them from your mom, these cute little like faux fur jackets. And I did have mine down because I had a tank top underneath, and I was warm.
I know. If I would have been moving more, I would have been too warm.
Yeah.
But since I wasn't like moving a ton.
But we didn't have people that were all up on us. No, so that was helpful.
It was helpful.
But no, she was amazing. She actually, I truly didn't know like how she would sound.
She sounded so good.
Yeah, she did. She sounded just.
I mean, it sounded like the CD or like the music just playing.
Like, but you could tell that she was singing. Like it wasn't just, she was good. And she was so fun and so cute.
And her set was so cute.
Amazing.
It was like, I guess when I'm thinking when they do these like little like theater things that they aren't gonna like do much, but she like had the whole thing.
She totally did.
Like it was in a forest.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
I loved it. It was just so vibey and it was really fun. So I'm glad that we decided to do that, because it was just a good time.
It was fun. And even though it was like a long day on Friday, we still had the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And it was like,
I know. It was nice actually, because like if we would have done it on Saturday, like it would have taken up like an awkward amount of our day, so it kind of was nice to just do it. And then Hannah stayed the night at my house, so we had a little sleepover. So that was fun.
It's like the good old days.
I know. So that was fun too. But if I know that she is done with this tour like before Christmas, but if she does it again and is doing these like smaller theaters, I would 100% recommend people go, because she was really good, and everybody was just having a great time.
Yes. We
did notice that there were more like male partners there than we anticipated. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know, Suki feels more like
for the girls.
Yeah.
I know. And they were all fine, but I guess I wouldn't have thought that for a date night, but I guess maybe because it's kind of like that vibey like lounge thing. Like I guess it makes sense now, but I was really surprised.
Yeah.
In the moment.
And there were like there were girls in front of us that were like friends that were there. So there were a lot of, I would say that it was majority female, but just looking around, I'm like, oh, you're here with your boyfriend. So are you? Interesting. Like, I just don't think that I would have thought to do
No,
that. Like, I would
wouldn't have
100% choose you over
the guy. Because
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't have thought that they'd enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny.
I guess they did. But yeah, so we probably won't ever get to see her for that cheap again.
I know. I was literally thinking that. I'm like, next time she comes around, this probably did so well that they're going to be more expensive.
I know. It'll
That's
tickets 100 baseline.
I
Like,
know. That's just what sucks. It's like, it's just so expensive to
I
go to
know.
a show. And then
I
it's like,
know.
if it's further away, you got to get a hotel.
Yeah. And I wish that we did more. I love going to concerts.
Yes. But they're all like, unless you find those like not quite as mainstream people or the
Mhm.
up and coming people, but that's even hard unless you're like literally looking.
Yeah, like your
all the
fingers on
time.
the pulse.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, we should just try these people. But
I
it
know,
is so
it's-
fun to see like live
It
music.
is. I love seeing live music, even if it's just like a random, person with a guitar, like at a bar. It's just
Right.
live music is fun. It's
It
so much
is.
more fun. So anyway, that was our Friday, and then Hannah discovered that Subservience was on Netflix.
It was so weird because on the car ride back, we were talking
Yeah.
about that, and I literally pulled up Netflix, and I'm like, what? There's something. We were just talking about it.
So, for those of you that don't know, that was the newest
Megan
movie with
Fox.
Megan Fox and what is
I think
what's
you'd
his
say it,
last name?
Marone.
Michelle Marone. Yeah. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about Suki before we move on. Of course, as we predicted, all the celebs were at the Brooklyn shows.
I know, we literally like, nope, they're going to probably be at the New York
Yeah.
show. And they were.
And who was there? Robert Pattinson
Up
in the
top.
wings.
Yeah, hood up.
I know.
Smiling.
So mad.
Disappeared back into the
I
shadow.
know. I was like, you're joking me.
Mhm.
We knew it. We knew it.
I know. I'm like, exactly. Just as we suspected.
So anyway, it's typical not at Cleveland. Even though she said she loved us, but she probably says that to everybody.
She did make a good point to be like, well, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you'll see like a video, they don't even know where
Yeah,
they
I know.
are.
They're like, how's everybody doing? Yeah.
Here at this place.
I love being here tonight. But anyway, Subservience. I actually thought it was better than I was expecting.
I know. I thought that too. My only complaint about it is it almost had the side or like the secondary story could have almost been a different movie. And then this could have been a different movie with like the Megan Fox thing. Like, I get they were just trying to show like, see, these robots are, bad and taking our jobs and stuff. But I think that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, they were trying to do too much.
But I thought Megan did pretty good with like
I
the
thought she did too. I thought that
eyes and the movement.
yeah, she was totally, great for that role.
I know.
And people might, criticize or whatever, but I don't think that she usually acts that way.
No.
So like she was acting like a robot.
I know. I agree too. And I think it just worked perfectly. And I loved how they had like her hair.
Yeah.
And it was.
No, she looked amazing.
I know. And I think she really made the movie.
Yeah.
Personally.
I know.
Who else could have did that?
I can't even think of one person. From seeing the clips on TikTok, I did think like, oh God, like, is this gonna be so lame?
I know, like
but
weird.
I did enjoy it.
I know. I thought it had like some really strong parts, like just like I don't want to say the ethics of robots, but like kind of. Yeah, like especially the parts where they were like she was taking care of the family, but she was like crossing the line a little bit. Well, a lot.
Yeah. A little.
Towards it.
Yeah.
But even when she was like being the voice of the mother for the child when she was reading, it was like, oh, like
but it
that
was like she
cool...
was doing it because as a like robot that doesn't have the feelings and stuff, it's like, well, but this is the direct thing that would make the child feel better. So I'm going to do that.
Do it. Yeah. It's like your mom can't read to you right now, so I'll read to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought there was a lot of cool parts in it.
Yeah. I thought the end spiraled a little bit.
I know. That's where it got a little bit murky. Like, I think if they wouldn't have had that secondary thing and they just had like that friend of the dad or what. I can't remember. Nick. Was it Nick?
Something like that.
If they would have just had him being skeptical of the things just in general, like that would have been okay. But with it like being the job thing.
Yeah, the whole secondary plot line was just like Hannah said, that these robots are taking over all these jobs in this town, and people are getting certain people like that coworker of the dad was getting mad, and then they ended up, the robots kind of like overrode the system and then were trying to like take over basically.
Yeah.
So I did get a little concerned because at the end they like almost left it open. I'm like, we don't need a second one though. Like, just leave it at that, I think.
I know. I just don't think we were gonna
like, it wasn't gonna be
there with it.
But like, you're right, because the idea of that is so timely and it could be
scary.
Good. Yeah. So the ending, if no one wants any spoilers, go forward. But the ending is just like these robots, like the Megan Fox one, has like fully corrupted the other system. And then like these other robots that are in like one of the labs get also overrode. And then they're all trying to just take over, and they like kill these people. And then it kind of just goes off of that.
I almost thought when they were like, when there's like the intimate parts or something, when he was like feeling her heartbeat or like her simulated heartbeat, I almost thought that maybe they were gonna go like, are they people and
like they could turn into
the robots?
I thought so too.
And like I was like, oh, because even when they would like die, they'd put like a body bag over them. So I thought like they were gonna go there with that.
I thought the other way, where they were so advanced that they were able to like morph more into like a human form, but still be a robot.
Right.
But like
it didn't
same
do that.
Thing. Yeah, that wasn't what it was at all.
I'm like, oh, is that where we're going with this?
And it wasn't.
No. It was just like a robot. See, if I had like a little helper robot person, it would be so hard not to get attached to them.
I know. Like,
to be like a little friend.
I know the idea of that isn't new. Like, remember the Jetsons?
Yeah.
And they had their little robot, and like she was a part of the family.
Right.
So it's like that idea isn't a new thing, but because now it's becoming more and more like real, it's reality, and like these AI things are very lifelike. Like it is just like, whoa.
Even the part too where spoiler, but they're sexually intimate together.
Yes.
But when the wife like finds out, and he's like, okay, well, it's just a machine.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between that and your vibrator? Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
I know.
It kind of was.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. I was like, I mean, it is kind of the same. And I think she was like, but it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know what she said, but I was like,
it's weird because it's valid. Like, it's not a real person.
Right.
Or it's not, but at the same time,
it looks like a person. Yeah. You could get like emotionally attached
because
to
they
it, taking care of your kid.
They do they act like a person. Yeah. It's really, it is just creepy though. Like, I mean, I feel like we'll probably get to that point, right?
I would think, yeah. I definitely think we could like have those things.
And then the Megan Fox robot, she literally like, when it was kind of dumb how they did this. I thought like we're watching this like movie Casablanca, and then he's like, I want you to forget everything you know about this movie, and she's like, well, then you have to reset me, like that's the only way. And then when he reset her, that's when she kind of was able to override some stuff. And then, but I only bring that up to go to the part in the park where like the one kid was being such a brat, and then she just like goes off on the kid, and the other robot, they all look different, like totally different people. And he was like, what? Basically, like, what are you doing? And she's like, I overrode my system, so I can do what I want.
And your kid is upsetting my kid.
And she's like, shut up and go play on another swing or whatever. Yeah, that part was funny.
I loved that part too, like the other robots interacting, or like when she goes to like kill that guy, and then his robot comes out and is like, what are you doing?
Wait. I'm here to protect. And she's like, so am I.
Well, and then it was weird too, because they were almost like indestructible, but then you could kill them.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Think it was like just like a little bit messy. Plot things.
Right.
Or even the fact that he could like be sexually intimate with her. I'm like, okay, so what is down there? Like that was a little like a logistical weird.
But details.
But yeah, I mean, it was better than I thought. I think it could have been cleaned up a little bit.
For sure. But
it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I'm guessing they made some good money off of it. I can't imagine, like, I feel like after what Michelle Marone, what he's been in, like, I can't imagine that he's super cheap.
Right.
And same with Megan Fox. Like, so they must have had a budget for this.
Yeah.
And but it's not a Netflix original.
No. Did it ever come out in theaters at all?
I don't know, because I saw clips of this on TikTok for a while before I saw it on Netflix.
So then it must have.
I know, but maybe not just by us. Maybe it was just like a smaller release. Yeah. But no, it was good. It was a pretty easy watch too. It was under 2 hours, so
I know, like it wasn't a total waste of time. Like I thought it was.
There was a story there.
There was,
and obviously they were both very good to look at. So
it looks like back in September.
So it must have been a limited release. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I would say if you're bored, give it a watch. Honestly,
like to look at two pretty people.
Yeah, who cares? Sticking with the movie theme, I just saw before I came in here that they are gonna do like the remake of American Psycho.
I know, I saw that too.
And they cast Austin Butler as Patrick Bateman. I don't love that casting, I'm gonna be honest.
I think it'll be I think I understand why they casted him, but I do think I would have liked to see Jacob Elordi or like, which it's like, I know he's in everything right now, but I think he, to me, seems like this tortured soul versus like Austin Butler versus like a psycho.
Well, and because we've seen him as the Nate character on Euphoria, and he kind of has that, like, you know, the devil inside almost, and like, I'm so good looking, I'm vain, and I obviously care about my looks, but like, I'm a little crazy.
I know. I wonder if there's like a scheduling conflict, and that's why they couldn't get Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, like I would have. I don't know. I think, but then you're just like, Austin Butler gets so into these roles, and what does that mean for this role?
What's gonna happen here?
Yeah. But this just goes back to what we've said time and time again. Do we have to just be remaking?
I know, that's
it.
I know, it's like we don't need to remake this one. It's like people are still watching it.
Yeah, like it's good the way that it was.
Right.
Like, why do we need a remake? If it was from like 1930.
Right.
Okay, remake it, whatever. But like, even then, why? Some movies are fine.
And the way I know they do keep doing that though, and then it's like, well, let's do this
because
generation's
original
version.
Yeah, that's why
they just want to do what's gonna make money,
and they're so happy to have like the existing intellectual property and they know that like, oh well, people already know this story and they like it, so it's basically a surefire win for us money wise. But it's not, because it makes me kind of turn away from it.
I know, like I'm not gonna go see that in theaters.
Definitely not.
I'm not gonna.
I'll watch that when it comes to Netflix or whatever, but I'm not gonna go and pay to see that one.
No, yeah, I am kind of over the like remakes. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's like sometimes it's fun to have like that new generation version, but it isn't always. Like, when is it ever that good?
Well, and with that movie specifically, like, like Patrick Bateman's this finance bro.
Right.
And I'm going to guess when that came out. Right. I'm going to guess early 90s.
2000. So not even 20.
2000?
Yeah. So not even 25 years ago.
Oh my God. That does make sense because Reese Witherspoon is in that. And
I know. I was going to say, I didn't think it was that long ago, but I would have guessed the 90s.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous. But he's like that finance bro, and I don't know, like now, don't we kind of think those guys are like loser douchebags?
Right.
Like,
are they going to give him this other random profession?
I don't know. I don't need a remake of that.
Like, I know. Why can't you do that concept, but don't even attach itself to American Psycho? And then later on, we can be like, this is like American Psycho.
Yeah, right.
And I think that would appeal to me more.
And even how with Saltburn and The Talented Mr. Ripley, it's like they're different, but there are parallels. I'm happy with that.
Yes.
But I don't want a direct remake. And I don't know. I guess this is what, again, we talk about the same things all the time, but this is what just frustrates me about like the movie and the just entertainment industry right now, is that I just know that he's getting a big check for this.
Yes.
Is he even fully interested in this? But he's like, well, one for me, one for them. Like, I need to pay my bills. Like, I don't know. I mean, I just can't even believe that people, like actors, really believe in their roles in their films anymore. Yeah. Because like, even when we were talking about everything that Nicole Kidman did this year, it's like, we know Nicole's not into this.
Wearing her wigs that she doesn't need to wear.
Yeah, she's just getting paid an insane amount of money.
Wasn't there just a quote from somebody recently?
It was with that Sonic movie. Yeah, it was Jim Carrey. And he's like, to be quite frank, I need the cash. Like, I
have hobbies that are expensive.
Yeah. It's like, thank you for being honest. But that just annoys me because, and with like a movie like that Sonic thing with Jim Carrey, like that's pretty much a throwaway. It's a kid's movie. Like, not a big deal. But something like this remake or like these other movies that are honestly like maybe kind of lame, you're like, come on.
Like, what are we doing
like,
here?
We don't even, it's so clear that we don't care anymore. We're just in it for, where's the integrity?
The passion.
Yeah, and then we wonder why people aren't going to the theaters.
And we wonder, because it's like, you're not giving me the art anymore. Like we're not getting the press like we used to in the interviews. Like, what the celebrities are so closed off right now, which I totally get why, but it's like, I'm not rooting for anyone's career.
I know,
as much as we used to. It's like, let's send Jennifer Lawrence out and do all this press. And you're like, I want to go see Jennifer Lawrence.
I do think, just speaking of that, what Timothée Chalamet is doing right now is...
But I fear
for that film.
Flop.
I fear
because
I smell a flop.
And that's the other thing too. It's kind of like it's sad to kind of watch because he's giving it his all, but I don't know if like kids younger than us want to go see the Bob Dylan biopic and pay for it.
Is Timothy enough to draw
get
them
in there? It's like I just don't.
I don't know.
Think it's gonna be, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm just like every time I'd see something like I just fear. I fear.
I haven't had good feelings about it. I really haven't.
Because even like me, I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I don't have this strong attachment to like Bob Dylan.
No, I don't either. Like I appreciate him for who he is and what he's done, and I think he is an amazing, part of our music history. But I don't have the attachment to him either.
Right.
And that's another one that when it gets on streaming, maybe if I'm bored on a Saturday, I'll put it on. But I don't feel super passionate about going to see it.
No. Which it's like, then there's that other like tricky thing. And I think, it's probably going to do well in the award season. It's already nominated.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really out. Whatever.
Just speaking of that with the Golden Globes, it's like I'm really happy that The Substance did get some noms, and then Heretic, right? They got Heretic. Why do I always say Heretic?
Heterosexual.
Yeah, Heretic. But that got a couple on there too, which I love that genre is getting some attention. But some of the other ones, I'm just like, really?
It's just nominated. Yeah. I know, and I'm a little bit more excited this year than I was last year.
Watch.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm actually looking forward to it. But some of it too, I was like, how?
Like it just doesn't make sense. And you know what I heard on The Town was that the Golden Globes is now for profit. So then they were saying like, do you think that like makes these nominees more or less credible? And they're like, well, I know that they got rid of some people that were maybe in there for the wrong reasons, but they are going to get more viewership and more sponsorship if they get the big name people there.
Right, like at the award show. I was actually listening to that. I don't know if it's the newest episode or second to newest episode of The Town. I like that they're like short little.
Yeah, I love that podcast.
I know. I'm going to have to start listening more.
It just makes me feel like an industry insider.
Oh, I'm finding all. I know I do like. And like, is there even another podcast that like talks about it that way?
There might be, but yeah.
But anyway, I heard them saying something about that. But that isn't because we're going to have everybody there this year.
I know. And it just makes you wonder, like, it is interesting that all these people got nominated. When was the movie that good? Like, I know I've talked about the Amelia Perez movie on the pod before, and people can totally disagree with me. That's fine. But I haven't been able to finish the movie. I just haven't.
And it's like, why is that one? But it was like talking about Oscar buzz the minute it came out.
Like the minute we heard about it.
I know. And then it's not even, which it doesn't have to be based on a real story, but we like thought it was, and then it wasn't. Because if it was based on a true story, I would have been like, obviously it's nominated.
Oscars love
that. But now
that.
I'm like,
I know. I don't understand it. And even there were some other like randoms in there that I was like, really? Like, we're going to get a nom for that?
I know. And is it because...
And even like the Wicked stuff, and I haven't seen it, but you have to think because it was such a huge press tour. And I'm not saying that they didn't do a good job in that film at all. I think that they really put in a lot. Obviously, they put in their bodies and
their
on
blood,
the line,
sweat and tears.
Yeah. But it's just like it's really hard to not see a blurring of the lines.
I know, or I'm like, I guess usually stuff like that, like this whimsical thing doesn't really get nominated in that way, and I guess more likely at the Golden Globes. But it was like, okay, I mean, I don't know.
And then they were saying, like, oh, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I don't know what you said, something about whimsical, and it just flew right out of my head. I don't know. There was something they were saying on the town, but it might come back to me. I don't know. But yeah, it's hard to know. Like, it makes me question as a viewer, like, is what I'm seeing genuinely good? I don't know.
Or am I like confused? Yeah. Well, we even thought, because some of the stuff with that, right? Kinds of Kindness got nominated, right? Or am I having a delusion? I thought somebody from there, a couple of things, and we didn't like it, but then everybody was saying how amazing this movie was and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, I mean, I guess I can respect that. But like, it's like, am I crazy? Like, are you crazy to think that Amelia Perez isn't good?
I know. I mean, it just, to me, there's some movies that just like aren't watchable.
Oh, didn't they say that they did more for each category?
That's
nominees?
What it was. They were saying like for the box office and like popularity, almost they have you're talking about more nominees, which is what they were saying too, to get more people in, more money generated. But they also like have, I mean, the Oscars, I think, talked about adding this too. They were saying where it's like, oh, now the achievement and the box office. So basically that was what it was with like the Barbie movie. And then I think that Matt Bellany said that they were going to add that as a category for the Oscars, but then they took it out.
Right.
And I'm just like, to me, the Oscars should be a really big deal.
Yeah.
Like, that is something that people strive for their whole career to get an Oscar. And then, no offense, but if you're going to say like, oh, best performance in the box office, that could be any random movie. It doesn't even have to be a good movie.
Right, and it's like, most likely that would be like a kid's movie.
Yeah, like Moana
or like
2.
Right.
Which, not to say that wasn't entertaining. Right. But an Oscar? Like, where is the line?
I know, and it's like, because sometimes something becomes popular later on too.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? I don't know.
It's
box
just,
office achievement or
what are the standards for film? Like, and I don't want to sound like such a snob, but isn't that the point of these award shows? Well, it's just to be snobby?
Different, yeah. Well, because sometimes it comes across as like, oh, Ariana Grande was in like a big movie, so of course we have to nominate her, more than like, it felt more like star power versus like, which obviously she did really good, but
it's just,
there's been like movies like what's Iron Claw or something, where it's like an incredible movie, which I haven't watched.
Unbelievable.
But like his career defining role, and it didn't get recognized in that way at all. And it's like, then you have something like Wicked that has this huge budget, this huge everything, and then it gets these stars, nominations.
And it's just, not to take anything away from anybody, but just speaking of the Wicked thing too, this is Ariana Grande's first leading role in a big film like this, right? I mean, like, she's done other things, right? But this, and to be nominated the first time, like, that is not the way it used to be.
I know, or you'd have like the Jennifer Lawrence thing, but then she was even in movies before that. Yeah, like, it wasn't her first leading role. I know, it just seems...
and you know, we got the Weinstein thing in there too, so yeah. But that's
conspiracy. Yeah. So I guess Ariana got there without the Weinstein. So
probably who else is out there? We don't know. Yeah.
But
it's just kind of,
I know, I guess it just almost seems like,
what does it mean anymore?
Yeah, it's like, it just feels gimmicky kind of, or like, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense, but doesn't make sense.
And that's why for me it was hard during like the COVID era to even get into these. Or sometimes like we went through a period where these award shows got really political, and I found it just really hard to watch because it's like, you guys are so privileged, you're so out of touch.
Like, just do your job.
Yeah, and now
put on your pretty dress,
right, and just shut up. And but it still had the integrity of like, I knew you, film integrity. But now it just feels like, okay, I'm back to the point where I want to watch, but the integrity doesn't seem to be there. The standards are lower.
Or like, what? Like, or even with like Leonardo DiCaprio being nominated several times and being in like really good, amazing movies and only winning once.
Like, that's wild.
Right. And then these other movies just kind of come out of nowhere that are like not even as passionate as it feels.
Yeah.
And then they're just getting like nominated and winning.
Willy-nilly.
And it's like,
yeah, it's, I don't know. And it does seem like from that episode of The Town, like it seems like the vibe within the industry is that this doesn't really mean as much as it once did.
Right.
But
like, they kind of did that to themselves.
Oh, for sure.
You know what, guys? Well, and it's like nobody's taking a step back and being like, what can we do to get people back at the theater? It's just, let's boom, 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 get out. I want to have the first remake of this. I bought the rights to this franchise. And it's like,
that's not going to do it.
And that's all they're pumping out, and they're doing it so quick. Even with like now, it's like we hear about a casting and then a movie is out.
I know, literally.
It's like, I don't know if... I mean, I'm sure more is going on behind the scenes than we know, but it's like before it'd be like we'd just see them on set filming and then it'd be like another year. And
it's literally that, or it's the opposite where it's like the Wicked thing. We saw that for like 3 freaking years, it felt like. And we're seeing like, oh, you know, here's a still from the movie. Here's this. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, wait. How long ago was that when we first saw this? Or like, what was the movie? I think, was it the Bob Dylan one where they said it took like 6 years or something to get it made or something crazy? It's like, what? But there's no real in between anymore.
And then it felt like we literally just saw him on set.
I know.
And now it's about to be out. It's like, what is going on?
I know. It's just, it's a strange time.
It is a strange
and
time.
I don't have the answers on how to fix it.
I know. That's why it's like we did feel so passionate about The Substance, because it was a more original.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. Well, it's obviously iconic.
Well, they gave it their all.
Yeah. And it was
roles.
really cool to see something like that again. I feel like we haven't really seen that when we do have these actors like making those comments. Yeah, I was doing it for a check, obviously.
Yeah.
Would you do this?
Right. Well, if the price was right. Yeah. It's just different. I don't know. So, I mean, I'll definitely still watch my
I'm more excited this year
shows. Yeah, because everybody's going to be there. Like, who doesn't want to see? I'm trying to look to see. Oh, just to double back. We got word that allegedly Megan and MGK have called it quits. And I just don't know what to believe anymore.
I know. I'm like, were they even really back together?
Yeah. Is this real? Will they be back together in 2 weeks? Yeah. Like, I just don't know.
Allegedly, she saw texts from
another woman.
Or other women.
It's just...
you better hope that ain't true.
I know. I don't know what to believe, because it feels like there's so many random bizarre stories that come out now, and you have the people who just like come out of the woodwork and say things just for clout, and then they end up not being true, and you're like, oh, it's like, okay, tomorrow we'll probably get paparazzi pictures of them together. You know, it's just like, I don't know.
Like, they also seem like the type that probably breaks up and gets back together
all the time. Like,
so it's like,
we know it's a toxic relationship.
We have the poetry to prove it. Which, so it's like, if they really did break up, now she's got this baby.
I know. I saw somebody in comments, they're like, oh, she just wanted a kid out of him. Like, Really? Like, you think she just wanted a kid from him? Like, I think she's doing just fine on her own.
She could probably get a kid from just about anybody she wanted.
Like, I don't think that was the motive here.
No.
But it does.
Although they haven't said anything yet, so maybe, I don't know.
Oh, I'm not surprised they wouldn't say anything. They never tell us anything about anything anymore. But it would make me extra sad if this is true, because then our chances of ever seeing Megan around Cleveland are going to decrease exponentially.
I know.
So, but, you know, maybe if they have to do trade-offs with the baby.
She'll meet there.
Yeah.
She'd stay in New York and
yeah, the middle ground. Who knows? But yeah, I just don't know what to believe. I don't know. And yeah, Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter allegedly are broken up, and Barry got so much hate that he deleted his Instagram. It sounded from his statement that people were being nasty.
I know. It's like, I guess I would never go then to MGK's. Type him in or look for him on my thing. Go to his DMs.
Yeah. Compose
the whole thing about how dare you ugly
disgusting,
freak.
slimy creep.
Cheating on our Megan Fox. Gross.
The most beautiful woman in the world.
Like, I just can't imagine.
I hope you die 1,000 deaths.
Literally.
Like, it's literally crazy. People, the fandoms are just too much.
I know, like, I just can't, like, what is it? And I would think they wouldn't care anyway, but obviously that would get to somebody. But it just seems like, what do they care what I think off this random social media account?
I know.
Like, it's just...
I guess it's just,
like,
you know, like, you literally, as a celebrity, you should not have the control over your social media.
I know, or
you
DMs
should just,
off.
Yeah, comments
off.
You either have to do that and then have the strength to not Google yourself and see stuff, or literally just be like, I don't want any of it. I'm hiring you. You do it.
I know. Can you imagine what their like TikTok feeds are? It's probably literally only them. Like, that's their algorithm.
I know.
Because it's probably pushing that.
Did you
to them.
Thinking about that made me think of celebrities who probably have like burner accounts and stuff. But I saw where from the Gladiator tour that, what is the Pedro, what's his last
name?
And Paul Mescal?
No, it's Pascal. No, it's because I thought the same thing too. I was like, oh, they're brothers, obviously. And then I'm like, oh no, and one is Mescal and one is Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. Right? He's
yes,
in that
and then
movie?
Paul
Mescal. Okay. Well, I guess Pedro posted on his like Insta story or something, and it was something about Gladiator, and he tagged Paul's like account.
Oh,
like,
I did see
account.
that. Got him.
Oh,
damn. That's gonna be deleted.
I know. It's like, oh, you wanted to be private and have the anonymity, and now
I did see that.
Yeah, that was funny. But they have to have like these random names, or all the users that are probably like user 32119.
Remember, I think it was Demi Lovato had like a private Instagram and but somehow I can't remember how people found it, but she was like saying all these things about Selena Gomez, and it was like her and these other
back in the day, right?
Like,
yeah.
Oh, it was so funny. I'm like, oh no, nobody was supposed to see that.
Well, and it's easier for people to figure that out. Like, they can put two and two together. You have these internet sleuths that are like insane about it.
How do they compile some of this stuff? It's like, have a lot of lore in my head, but these people, I'm like, good
damn.
Gosh.
And how do you have the time?
I know. It is wild. And like to be going through sifting.
And don't get me wrong. Not necessarily with celebrities, but with people we know. I've certainly spent too much time.
To the depths.
Yeah. But with the celebrity, it's even harder because they have way more people that they're following or followers. It's like that'll take you hours to go through. I
don't know how these people do it.
Me either.
Like, wow.
I wonder if there's some other like app or something.
I know, or like they have like a connection.
Yeah.
That like puts them on the right path.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's just funny. Imagine being famous like that and then having your private anonymous dun, dun. Instagram exposed. It's funny.
Poor guy.
Hi, everyone. Hey. This is Also Podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
We're unapologetically full of opinions on books, podcasts, food, and reality TV.
Join us weekly for deep dives on Vanderpump Rules and Summer House, as well as pop culture news, gossip, and even our own lives.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
So, you know, Sabrina Carpenter, I watched her little Christmas special.
Oh, did you? Was it cute?
It was cute, but it was kind of weird. Like, it kept panning. And I'm assuming that it was trying to have, like, that old-timey vibe of, like, the Christmas variety show things. But it would show the audience, and I'm like, are these people even really here? Because they'd be like, I'm like, that wasn't that funny. But it was cute. I mean, her outfits look cute.
Yeah.
Her guests were cute. It was corny.
But that was supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then they do like these like 5 seconds behind the scene things. Like they would literally be like 5 seconds. So I'm like, what was the point of that? And it just kind of like took you out of it. Like it just seemed a little disjointed, but the music was good. I wanted to look up if I could just listen to
the songs, yeah.
But Cara Delevingne was on it.
Singing? Or?
No, just part of a skit.
Oh, that's kind of random.
It was. And then there was like a behind the scenes miniature of her, and she still kind of seemed a little all over the place. No. I mean, she looked good, but
I forgot we went down a strange path for a little while there. Yeah. It was rough.
It was, but it was cute. But
I'm assuming we're medicated now and
hopefully doing better.
Yeah.
But I was like,
yeah. I just saw little clips of it, and I couldn't decide if it was something that I wanted to watch.
It was maybe a hair too long. Like it was cute. Like I enjoyed looking at it, like because of her outfits and her hair and her makeup, and like. The guests' outfits were really cute, too. I mean, her and Tyla looked so cute together. But I wonder what her trajectory is going to be.
I was thinking that,
like,
too.
Because I was thinking about it, too. I'm like, is she going to be like a Dita Von Teese thing, and like we kind of see her doing like burlesque, but then she also has like a lot of talent too.
Yeah, like she genuinely does have a good voice.
But is she gonna keep with like the
but
which
how
I think
long
is
can
cute,
you keep
right?
That
Because
up?
it's like it's so cute. That's why I'm like, is she gonna be like 40s still kind of doing it like a Dita Von Teese thing, or is it gonna be? Because that'd be a cool show. Like if it was in like a lounge or something. But yeah, I'm just like, I wonder if she's gonna.
I think we mentioned this on the pod before, or maybe we just had a conversation about it. But like going to her concert, like that would be a show that I would much rather see in a small venue.
Yeah, or like I need to be right up there.
Because it would be way more fun and cute if it was the smaller. I mean, even. I do think seeing the clips on TikTok where it's like they have the cute little like, you know, intro thing on the screen, or like when she's changing, they do something like that is cute, almost like little commercials.
Yes.
So I appreciate how they tried to do that to make it almost seem more like intimate and stuff. But I don't know, like the show just... I know that her fame makes it that she's doing like stadium shows and stuff, but the vibe feels like it should be for smaller venues.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder what it's actually like there. Cause I mean, it's like cute how it goes from like day to night to morning. Like that's really cute. But yeah, I'd rather see it in like a lounge.
And like just thinking, not that this is fully comparable to like the Eras tour, but with that, I mean, when you went, you didn't have front row seats, and it was unbelievable.
Right.
Still.
It was still for that.
The
like
arena.
It was still,
or the stadium.
Like it was anybody who was anywhere was seeing something. They always had her up on the thing so you could see her face.
Like that is the way that it should be. And like, it was designed for huge venues and it felt very grand. Like with your little like light bracelets.
Right, where we're all involved.
Yeah, I mean, that is so cool. And I don't know. I mean, it just, some shows just don't have that.
Right. It's like almost impossible. But yeah, I think I would have, I don't know. I feel like I'd be disappointed if I had like a really far away seats and I went to go see Sabrina Carpenter because her show is so cute.
I know. And the set like looks adorable.
I know.
You
and
know,
it's adorable.
It's like if you're far away, you
outfits.
can't even hardly see.
But yeah, I don't know where she's gonna go. But I mean, it's all super cute now.
Super cute.
I just wonder. But even her music doesn't necessarily fully fit with the, like she makes it work and it does fit. But that music could also be like kind of like an acoustic-y thing.
Yeah,
too.
so I just wonder, and even with her look, you know, like it's super cutesy, kind of retro. You know, she's also got the wigs, but are you going to keep with that like almost pinup doll look?
Right.
Or...
And it looks so good on her. It's like I almost can't even picture her in anything different now.
But I'm assuming that at some point you're going to want to
like change it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be
so
interesting.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where she goes. And I don't know, like, is it just a little bit trendy? You know, like, are we still all going to be into that vibe in, like, you know, the next 5 years? Like, I don't know.
I know.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it was cute, but
yeah.
I know.
I didn't really consume any other media.
I found
like
something
shows.
random out. JWoww. Did you hear this?
No.
Wrote and directed a horror movie. I didn't watch it, but it's called Devon.
Where's it available?
Oh, shoot. I didn't write that down.
Like any streamer that we have?
Let me see.
Probably not. But
maybe it just...
Maybe it's on the Roku channel.
Where can I watch it? Prime Video or Google Play, but you have to rent or purchase it.
Okay.
I just thought that was really random. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Got a 2.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
I mean, what do you expect, though?
It was just funny. I was like,
how did you find that?
One of my YouTubers was going through what she watched in November, and she pulled that up and she said, I thought she said JWoww, and I was like, JWoww was in it? And then when I looked it up, because she was just going quick through all the stuff, I'm like, oh no, she directed and
that is weird.
Wrote it.
That is bizarre.
I mean, wow.
I mean, good for her.
I know, I'm like, good. I mean,
yeah, gotta keep working.
I know, and it's like, if it's your first movie, it's not gonna be great.
And I don't expect her to be a master director either. So good for her for trying something new.
I know. So if it was free,
I would definitely watch.
Check it out.
Whoever would have thought that would be her
I know.
trajectory.
I was even more surprised by the horror part.
Yeah.
But I guess it's because I feel like with horror, you can get away with like it being campy.
Yeah,
and, like,
totally. So maybe it's
great.
a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Like plot lines don't fully have to make sense. Speaking of a bizarre trajectory, can we discuss Trisha Paytas for a second?
On us, no.
What is going on? And she's been doing these like Christmas special shows,
which I knew she
and
was
now
doing
she's
those.
Gonna do one on Broadway. I was like, oh,
finally,
my God. It is seriously, like, I know we've said this before, but just almost completely unbelievable that this is happening to her.
Well, it's so interesting because you know how sometimes you're like, once you get there, you kind of like stay there.
Yeah.
Like she has been in the internet zeitgeist
for
so literally
long.
so like feels like her whole freaking life.
I know.
And it just like keeps getting better. Like she's been able to like withstand the test of time. Like she did the reality shows, then she did the YouTube.
And she's evolved.
Yeah. And it's like she's done the podcasting. She's the TikTok stuff, which is great.
It's just insane.
To be able to like keep going and going and going and like.
I mean,
and it's
you
like,
have to respect that.
I know. And like, how old is she now? Because it's like she just keeps.
I would say mid-30s maybe. She's not that much older than us, I don't think.
No, but it's like she just keeps like 36.
Okay. But I remember like back when she used to just be a YouTuber. I mean, like, her content was messy. It was low key embarrassing, sometimes high key embarrassing.
It's like I don't know what it is. She's just been able to stay.
And she is likable.
She is.
You know, and
even when was in her unlikable,
it's
still likable. You wanted to watch. It was so all over the place.
And you always, like, even if I didn't watch her stuff all the time, she still was like in the ethos. Like I would hear about her.
It's like always. It's just everywhere.
I do not know how you do that. And like from what I know, like she's pretty like homegrown. Like she did a lot of it just herself and like the grind.
And she always like put herself where she needed to be. It's kind of just the never giving up.
I know.
And it's like, has she, and I don't even mean this in a negative way, like actually worked like a real job. It's like she's always, and sometimes we like rip on people for like, well, just get a dang job. But it's like, if she would have, she wouldn't have gotten to where she is. Like her just like flowing through everything.
I know. I mean, because I don't know if we follow her on our TikTok, but sometimes her videos will come up and it'll just be like random, like her talking about her family or whatever. And I just enjoy listening to them because she is so grateful for everything. And like, she can't even believe what's happening. And then just obviously like the SNL thing and the Broadway stuff have been under wraps because those things don't just randomly pop up. Like she knew, but like couldn't tell. So who knows how long that was legitimately in the making. But it just is like in the last couple months, it's like so many things have just changed for her in such a big way.
I know.
Like it's just like a miracle. Like it's weird to say that, but it really is.
I know.
Gives me hope.
I know, it's just cool to be able to see somebody like just keep going and being able to withstand it when so many haven't been able to. And I don't know. I mean, clearly the people are like giving up. It's like she just never gave up.
Yeah, and she did get a lot of hate at different points.
Oh, most points.
Yeah.
I know it's nice that people have like been able to
embraced
accept
her now.
But it is also, we do see the change in her.
Totally.
Like she's mellowed out.
Well, and she's admitted that like, you know, she was kind of unstable at certain points. But I like that even now she'll still do her little videos where she's just like eating and she'll just be chatting. You know, I'm like, that's literally what brought you to fame was those type of videos from the beginning. Like, it's just wild.
It is. And it's like, just looking at it, it's like those influencery situations are what's getting people to watch stuff. Like people are going to watch SNL if Patricia Paytas is doing like a little skit in there. It's like, if that's what if you want the young crowd and the new crowd to come in there, you're going to have to start doing stuff like that, as annoying as it is. But it's like these traditional celebrities aren't doing it as much anymore.
But like, how would you classify Trisha Paytas?
don't know.
Because, I mean,
internet star.
I mean, yeah, just like a blanket.
Yeah.
Because she's really done
and she doesn't
everything.
Right. And she doesn't do like the typical
influencer.
Yeah, like
stuff.
if I'm thinking like an Alex Earl, like she doesn't do that.
Yeah. And she never is really like pushing products either.
No. I know. I wonder, because I know she's done the OnlyFans and that she doesn't make new content, I guess, on it anymore. But that gave her a ton of money. And that's when she bought that like mega house. But I'm like, I wonder if because she doesn't do like that, like you'll see like one every now and then. But like she just gets the money. It's like I don't even know where the money like comes from.
I know, it's crazy. And like her podcast, like I'll see where she has like her monthly subscribers or whatever. I don't know if it's Patreon or if it's through another whatever, but she'll be like, yeah, for my people that are like this tier, like I sign these headshots and send them out every month. And it's literally, I mean, the stack of headshots is astronomical.
I know, like she'd be making that money.
Yeah. And even if it's just say it's $5 a month, like my God, like the stack that she has, that's a huge income she's getting just from that.
I know.
It's just, it's wild. And then just to see like she did get her happy ending with her family. It's like, it's just so beautiful. Like I'm so happy for her. Like it truly has come full circle.
I know. I feel like she's just going to be able to be there forever, like doing anything and everything. And she just is able to roll with the tides.
And she'll be able to just be happy and content with whatever she's doing. And she'll have a new dream and hopefully she can achieve that. But like, what is stopping her now?
And I always love too how it's like if she wants it to happen, it happens. Like as far as like, I want to dress as a Gerard Wade today.
Yeah.
Or Way. And then it's just like she gets the hair and makeup done and it's what it looks like. And she gets the outfits and it's like.
Totally.
It's like whatever she dreams, it's created.
And
like,
even some of the craziest things, like how is she manifesting?
Right.
Because we need to start doing that in all aspects of our life too. It's just, it is so wild. I mean, good for her. Good for her. But it is crazy because it doesn't seem like she's made any type of like under the table deals or things like that.
No.
Like it does seem organic.
Right. Like it just works. Like she's good at, I don't even know if she has like a full team that helps her come up with ideas.
I don't know
feel like it just seems like she
does
in like she picks up on something and does it. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't. And then if it does, it's like, whoosh.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in tune.
Good at cultivating,
and she always
an internet
has been.
career.
Yeah, it's a talent for sure. Like
I don't know if we've ever really seen somebody like this
that
ever.
I mean, you could say like somebody like Mr. Beast has that huge YouTube presence, but when I think outside of that,
I know.
What does he have?
Or like. Maybe David Dobrik before the cancellation.
Oh, yeah.
He was like on his way to doing that.
But then, you know, the rug was pulled out.
Tisk tisk.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway. I really don't have like anything. I didn't even watch like any Housewives. I did watch Salt Lake, but there's nothing I thought maybe there would be something emotional coming off of what we talked about last week with that emotional moment with Mary and her son, but really like not much happened there. So I can't even.
I know. I did listen to, I don't know if I finished the episode Juicy Scoop today.
Oh, I didn't yet.
But she was talking about the Diddy stuff. And it is just too much.
I know. And I don't know what we can like, well, we don't have a ton of listeners, so I think we can probably safely talk about anything.
Well, but there's so much, like, I don't even know. And then obviously like the Jay-Z stuff kind of like came out and then he was just parading himself on the red carpet for Mufasa.
I did listen to this because that was when that Kate Casey was saying how his he seemed like a
unhinged one.
Well, yeah, what was it, like an uncompliant client or whatever. It's like I don't want to feed into all the conspiracy theories, but
I know. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I'm like, I'm not buying it. Maybe you, whatever. If I'm gonna say like I was not a part, like I feel like they're like getting us on this technicality, like oh maybe he wasn't a part of this particular situation. But I'm like, come on, like no, you did something at some point.
I know, it's just
I'm not buying
to
it.
Go and make that type of comment like Jay-Z did. I don't believe that someone professional helped him write that.
No, I don't think so either. And when he was like throwing his kids into the thing, it's like, don't freaking do that, dude.
Well, because there's so many.
My kids are going to have, that's what everybody's doing now.
We know so little about Beyonce and Jay-Z, and I think that is purposeful.
Yeah.
So it just makes, I mean, and the last big thing that was kind of in question about them was the elevator thing.
Right.
And like that was really just pushed away too. Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, my sister is walloping my husband in an elevator.
What happened there?
Literally,
you know?
She didn't just do that for fun.
Right. I mean, you have to question. And then when somebody is just as famous as he was, if you were that close to somebody, you cannot tell me.
You know, not for 5 seconds. I know. And it's really irritating me that we're getting the celebrity 1, celebrity 2. It's like, knock it off. I want to know who it is. Stop protecting these people.
Well, I thought it was the that lawyer. He put out another statement after Jay-Z's and was like, no, like you're victim shaming.
Yes.
And I don't know. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not. After the Diddy stuff came out, I'm going to assume that things are more on the side of true than untrue. But I totally did feel like Jay-Z's statement was like, oh, really? You are claiming I did this to you? Then why isn't it a criminal case?
Yeah, like why did you take it here instead of there?
Yeah, it's almost like a baiting of like...
Yeah, and it's like, actually, you're the horrible person because now I have to tell my kids.
Yeah.
It's like, stop saying, I'm so sick of the celebrities doing that. It's like, well, maybe you're just like a bad person.
I know, maybe.
You should have thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when they're out on the Mufasa thing, and of course they brought like, Blue Ivy. It's
I know, and it was almost like the audacity too. Like, oh, we're get away with stuff all the time, so let's parade our daughter. Like, don't be bringing her out.
It felt
when
gross.
This stuff. I know. I was like, what are you doing? Like,
and I literally. I mean, we just know so little about them. I feel like Beyonce is probably just there, like behind closed doors, like losing her ever-loving mind.
Now we're like fully getting named.
Yeah, I know. And I'm glad that another celebrity name came out, and I hope it's the first of many because you know that shady stuff is going on.
I know. And everybody has been so dang quiet lately, except for like the younger crew, like the Sydney Sweeneys, Austin Butlers, because they wouldn't have been involved in that.
Had a chance to be involved. Yeah.
So, and what was I going to bring up? Oh, and then somebody was bringing up the, which we briefly talked about, like the Justin Bieber stuff. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't name drop the celebrity victims.
I know, like we need to stop somewhere.
I know, like before they can tell their story. And even there was a couple comments in that TikTok that were like, I don't know if we should be doing this if they haven't come out themselves. And I was liking those.
With that something happened,
right?
Like I don't know what it was,
what the extent of it was,
but clearly because now having that like bird's eye view and being able to look back at that,
right, and like the way he was acting out,
clear.
I know
that he
and
was
the fact
going
that
through
he
something.
Can hardly get on stage now.
Yes,
It's like,
or like when he was talking about protecting like younger little stars and singers and stuff. It's like he literally can hardly even talk about it without getting emotional.
I know. And it's like, we don't need the confirmation we already know.
Yeah.
Like we don't need.
Right. And in 30 years, maybe he will
feel comfortable
talking about it.
Or maybe as more things come to light,
but
and more people.
My God, I mean, and we're all out here like, oh, look at him, another loser celebrity having a breakdown. Like kid star who can't take it.
So mean to these celebrity, like I mean, freaking Amanda Bynes. All of them. We were all so mean to them, and now they're all screwed up.
It's like, yeah, what happened?
They're like hardly can recover.
There was horrible trauma,
literally.
And like, thank God Justin got Hailey. I mean, and remember, even when they were together and we're getting these pap shots of him literally having
weeping.
Meltdowns on
like
the freaking
public
curb, like that was just awful.
Crazy.
That was so awful. Yeah, we shouldn't be bringing him or any other victim into it unless
that doesn't
they
want to speak for themselves.
Yeah,
or even that when they were talking about that on Juicy Scoop, and that one girl, can't remember what they said she
the
was.
wife
She's like,
of a
fine.
hockey
Yeah, she's
player.
like, fine. I guess I have to name myself, and I will, so these people can get
brave
which is just
of her.
Not even fair. We can't say the perpetrators' names, but we have to make the victims talk about this horrible thing.
It's gross. Ugh. No, I want names. I want a list of these evil people. I want them. I want them all to be convicted.
Yeah.
I mean,
tarnished, ruined career.
And I don't even care if it ruins my life with the people that are called out for this. Like, I need a cleanse. Like, I literally think that we do.
So we'll see what happens.
I know. It's just...
it's just so much. Like, sometimes I'll like start reading something. Like, I
can't even do it.
It's too, like, just the content and the amount of stuff is like astronomical, and like in a way, because if you think about it, they're having these parties probably like every weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Then just even the clips
for
of
decades.
Right, with like DeVay Chase being like, and them just like goofing and laughing about it, like,
and then going to these award shows and whatever, and just chumming around with everybody.
And there was like that. I mean, of course, people probably could be reading into it, but now you're like, maybe not anymore. There was like that clip of Liam Payne, like talking about when he met Diddy and the other celebrities. I don't remember who they were that were sitting there with him. Were like. Like, stop, shut up.
I know they show that thing from Ellen too, where Diddy like you said, we're probably like reading into some stuff, but where he's almost like threatening Ellen, like, we go way back, Ellen, don't pretend that we don't. And she's just there like, what are you talking about? And then they like went to Twitch, RIP, and he's like, what's going on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's terrifying.
I know. In the way that like now we're like hearing like the whisperings of he would like blackmail people, and then the way he like, we have clips of him like reminding people he has blackmail on him. It's like, okay, so all that was true.
Right.
Like,
it's crazy. Anyway, it's so crazy.
It is crazy.
To change the subject, I did finish the final season of The Umbrella Academy, which I know you didn't watch that one. It was fine. I mean, of course I was going to watch it because I already came this far. I need to finish it out. But the thing I wanted to bring up about that, because that's based on like comic books, and I don't know, I don't read comics, so I don't know like how long these have been out, how recent they are. I don't know that. But I just found it very interesting because in the last couple of seasons of Umbrella Academy, they've been doing a lot of alternate timelines. And then we've seen that throughout like the Marvel universe too. And then we've seen it in like other shows and movies. And it just is like very interesting to me that we're kind of a lot of people at the same time are hopping on that like,
right.
oh, there's alternate timelines and we're gonna, build a story around that. Like, it's just like a trending thing, but it just seems like kind of random that's like trending, but we've seen it like a lot.
Right. Or it seems like an interesting way to be able to like do whatever you want with the plot.
Yeah.
In like I don't want to say like the cheap way out, but kind of, it's like, well, let's go this way. And then actually we can pretend like that character didn't die because in this other universe.
Yeah. Or like, oh, that didn't really make sense. But they just went to another timeline. Right. So,
it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
That is interesting.
Do that. I know it's so hard with like those like sci-fi or like, I don't even know, like that kind of stuff where you can like, you kind of have to like take it for what it is and get out of the fact that this definitely isn't real. Because sometimes we watch dramas all the time and you're like, oh, this is, real. But then when you're in one of those, you just kind of have to just sit there and just watch it.
Yeah, this is fully just
take it in for what it is.
Yeah. But it's fun. Like, I think it's cool because we even think like, in our own world, like, are there different versions of me? If I made one different decision, like, would that have changed my whole life? Like, that is interesting to think about. But it's at this point for me, like, while I will watch something with that as like a plot point and still enjoy it, if it's like done well, it almost feels like a little tired.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I've seen this before.
Right. It almost feels like unfair in a way.
Yeah.
To like, so you put me through all this and then you can just like change your mind because of dimension or something.
And I don't, this is why I say with like the comic book thing, like, because with like, we saw that was the whole point of the Loki Marvel series, which I watched. But like, was that based on comic books that were written decades ago? Like, I have no idea.
Right.
Or is that not, and they're like writing it for now? And same with the Umbrella Academy. I know that those are newer because that's a Gerard Way thing. But is it that like he wrote them and then now it just so happens that like we're all kind of bouncing on or jumping on that bandwagon? Or was he writing it kind of as he went? Like, I have no idea.
Right.
But I don't know. It's like cool, but I do feel like there's only so long you can kind of go with that before you kind of have to like wrap it up and where it gets too confusing. You can't even follow it anymore.
Right.
That does make you kind of freak out though, if you think about it in your own life. Like, if I made this one decision differently, like how would that have affected and changed everything?
Or like if you kept making the secondary path, like there's so many different options that it could be.
I know.
You're like,
it just makes like you can't even fathom it because it's so.
And then it gets you in that weird like, what is time?
Yeah.
What is
how
this?
Am I real?
I know, it's like, is everything just as linear as we perceive it?
And then I'm like, I am a speck on a planet spinning around the sun. Like then I have to literally bring myself back. Like, no you can't think like that.
To like poke something or look at the red lamp or whatever they say when you're like having a delusion. I know, and it is wild. I listened to this. I guess this is my last thing I have to say. Rachel Bilson, or Broad Ideas with Rachel Bilson.
Yeah.
And they had on Aaron and Sarah Foster.
Oh.
And they were like, seemed cool or whatever, but they kind of got into like the Nepo baby conversation. And at first they were kind of like if my dad had anything to do with it, then acting career would be obviously way better. Clearly he couldn't help me with it and blah blah blah. And I was like,
and you're like, but he clearly helped you in plenty of other ways.
But then they finally turned the conversation and they're like, maybe, like it got us in the room, and also because we were so exposed to like people. And not to mention the best friend was Kate Hudson growing up. So they were always at Goldie Hawn's house and all that stuff.
And not to mention that they have buku money backing them.
No kidding. I know. And they started talking about this one time. She's like, you know how the industry is where it's like one day you could be like, am I going to be broke? I was like, come.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure David Foster's worried about that.
Yeah. I'm sure he's not going to help you out in any way.
Yeah.
But they were like,
come on.
But then they finally were like, but it did help a ton with like just kind of knowing the ins and outs of the industry. It's like, hello. And that I can stand up for myself, for people who don't have anything to fall back on wouldn't know that they could even do that. And I was like,
and I
thank
think
you for
that's
saying
like the
that.
point of a Nepo baby.
Yeah, it's like you
that's
get
the point
in the
we're
room.
making.
Right. It's like you get in the room, you know how to talk to these people, you know how to fight back and what's serious and what isn't serious.
Because you're not
you
as intimidated as somebody else too. Like, oh yeah, I used to have Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell over all the time.
Right.
Like, yeah, that would desensitize me to
know.
celebrity, and I wouldn't feel intimidated when I walked in to pitch something.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that's funny.
I know. It was an okay
episode.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like there.
What did, speaking of podcasts, did you think of the newest Call Her Daddy?
Who's on it?
Paris and Nicole.
Oh, no, I didn't even see.
I didn't listen, but
I'll probably listen then.
I want to, but I also
I'm sure it won't be
kind of want to boycott.
Intelligible.
It's just
pre-planned things.
I know. It's just frustrating. And, you know, I love Paris and Nicole and always will, and like we'll never stop doing that. But them doing this little press tour for their new special, it's just kind of like in some of the things that I've seen, it feels like the jokes are a bit more manufactured than
I know
they were before. Like, and I know that they're different people, and obviously they're older, so they don't have, like, they have more to lose now, certainly, than they did before. But
they look so fabulous.
I know, and they look really good. And I think that they are funny together.
But we also know that there's been a falling out in the past. They haven't been with each other as much, and this does kind of feel like a money grab
for sure.
Off of like
I know.
the nostalgia
like
of
I can't help but think that, and I don't like thinking that.
It's like I like seeing them together, but we really haven't hardly seen them together, which doesn't mean they weren't talking, but
right. It just makes me feel like it's not as genuine as it used to be.
It's like, yeah, let's go ahead and give it one more go. Yeah. It's like
we'll put it on for the cameras.
Yeah.
I know. Like, I will say the TikTok that we made months ago when the trend of like the vibe I bring to the function was a thing, and I did ours. I was clearly ahead of the curve, and I did it all of Paris and Nicole. That thing is just raking up the views and likes.
Well, might be able to do a live because of it.
I don't know about that. We're still only at 90
and
followers.
Do we think that TikTok will be banned for
I don't
real?
know.
Because it's been 7 different times.
I literally just want them to make a decision, because I would love to be able to just cut it out and move on. And then I saw a TikTok that was funny, and it was like, somebody contemplating TikTok leaving, and they're like, but then there would be a new social media, and it would be easier to become an influencer when everybody's starting fresh. I'm like, that's so true.
Get rid of it.
I know. Let us start over.
But it is so hard because, we're not on Facebook. We're not on, I don't know what else is out there. Instagram. We have Instagram, but that one is so much more like, it doesn't give you what you want in the way that TikTok can. So it's like, with TikTok, it's like my news isn't from TikTok, but I don't know a ton of stuff. If you're not, like, if there's a couple days where I'm not really on it, it's like, I feel like I'm freaking out of the loop. And I get back on and I miss all the inside jokes.
I know, literally. For like Instagram, you basically are better off just looking at people's stories. Yeah, honestly.
Because I don't know what any of this is. Like, nobody's popping up. Then if you scroll, it's like
all this.
I don't even know what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's all this like weird ad content content or like suggested, but for some reason it's all
from
mom
3
bloggers.
months ago.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Yeah, you know what popped up was that one guy, Jason Tardik, and that one like influencer girl, whatever her name is, that they dated, and I'm like, they broke up like at least a month ago, if not more. And then I scroll and it was like, oh yeah, because that was from like August, and it just randomly popped up on here.
This is
and
crazy.
Also like, damn, dagger to the heart.
I don't imagine like scrolling there you are with your ex. It's like, ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't have the energy to put into social media either. Like, I just don't.
I know. It just seems like a lot of, they're like, if you post every day for a year, you'll definitely make money.
Do
and
that.
It's like, what am I, it's like discouraging. Like, I'm going to put all this effort into like,
and then getting like,
a banana deal.
Yeah. Right. Or, okay, wow, I got, again, 254 views and 3 likes.
Farther
we're blocked from anything else. I know.
Okay.
But then that random post from months ago is now somehow circulating again, which makes no sense.
No.
Whatever. I'm not going to even try to figure it out at this point.
Yeah. But anywho.
I know. Well, should we wrap it up? Because I didn't watch any Bravo stuff this week, so it's okay. We've talked about just banking a few of those anyway, and then talking about it all together. But my recommendation for this week, I ordered another one of Hailey Bieber's blushes, and I did Sleepy Girl, and it's like this really pretty, almost like a maroon color, and it just kind of gives you that like warmth, which I think is pretty for the like fall and winter season. And even though I am more pale, it still looks good and like blends and doesn't look really like strong on me, which I like. So I'm gonna recommend that.
Again, I wish we could try the colors in person.
It's a surprise when you get it.
And you're like, and I can make it work.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you mix a blush, it gets a little bit better.
I do put, because I wanted like a powder blush to kind of go over it, and I have found that the Makeup by Mario blushes are pretty good matches for hers.
That's actually a smart move.
Literally, like if that's like, what they're trying to do.
Right. Or even if she doesn't know that he's doing that, it's like, well, if they pair with that.
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously not exactly the same, but like they pair very well. Like they're pretty damn close. And she doesn't currently have any powder blush. So I'm like, listen.
Works.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a recommendation.
I can recommend Subservience.
Watch Subservience. It's mildly-ish original.
It's not going to take much of your time.
No. And you get to look at Megan Fox. So
yeah, she's a babe.
Anything better?
Obviously. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. Please make sure, we're coming into a new year. Let's start 2025 off right by giving us reviews and ratings. We would love that. I mean, if all of our listeners would just give us a rating and write a nice review, we would have 5 more ratings and reviews. But please, in all seriousness, do that. And then you can find us on our socials, even though we talk about how we hate updating that. But we're still there, and we do put out content. And we'd love to interact with all of our listeners more. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.